Alrighty guys, the new bows for 2025 have all been released by most notable brands. It's time to see what I went with. I'm very excited for this. I think this bow is an absolute shooter, probably one of the better ones that has been put on the market recently. I got super excited when I saw it, so let's go over it. This is the new flagship bow for 2025. Now, it's not a Mathews, I'll tell you that much, but it's very exciting. So let me reach in here. The new bow for 2025 is a Bear Kuma from 2019? No, this can't be right. Gentlemen, the one lady who's gonna see this, and who can forget about the guys who have never seen me without a hat on, which I went back and there's only one video where I'm not wearing a hat. So I just wanted to prove that I'm not wearing it because I'm balding. I just like hats, but that's beside the point. Let's talk about this guy. This is the Bear Kuma. This thing launched in 2019. I went back and I did some reading on it, and I guess let's talk about how this got into my hands. So I was at Scheels a couple days ago. I sold my Elite Omnia because I'm upgrading for the actual 2025 bow that I'll be shooting this year, which I'm not gonna give that out quite yet. As the guy went back and was looking over my Elite, giving me a bid on it, I saw this bow along with one of those bows back there, but that's for a separate video, and I just had to have it. This thing was on sale for $300. And I knew off the top of my head that the Kuma was like a flagship bow of Bear a couple years ago. And it pretty much clicked in my head right away. You see all of these like pawn shop bow build videos, these, cheap bow build videos, and there's really not a niche for a used bow video as far as getting like a flagship bow like this, which really isn't even that old. I mean, 2019 was 5 years ago, and in the grand scheme of things, that's not that old. Looking at this thing, if it came out today, it honestly would probably launch in that like upper tier, like budget bow category, that like $700 to $800 bow price point. Obviously, Elite released the Hunter 33, Prime has the Ronin, like the PSE has those drive bows that are kind of in that price range there. And Bear still has bows that are in that price range. But this thing, when it launched, was a little bit more expensive than that. And I mean, getting it for $300 nowadays, you can get a new set of strings, which I'm going to, and make out for less than like a Bear Alaskan XT, or more budget-friendly bows that still perform really well. And this thing's probably gonna perform better. So that's the direction that I decided to go with for my backup bow this year. Obviously, for the past year, I've been running the Epic X2 for my backup bow. Super solid shooter, it's manufactured by Bear. I decided to go for a little blast for the past and use the backup bow for the next 2 years as a flagship bow from 2019. We're gonna see just how well it performs. We're gonna make some videos comparing it to modern day flagship bows, and just go from there. So I wanted to get a couple arrows through this. I wanted to get it paper tuned. I'm gonna throw the accessories from the Epic onto this one. But first, I wanted to go over just how it came. And honestly, how you could probably hunt with this bow right now, just as it shipped. So this thing came with a sight and a rest on it. The sight is actually an Excel sight. I'm not too familiar with the Excel brand, but it's a 5-pin sight. Obviously, Excel doesn't make a whole lot of inexpensive sights. So if they still make this, I'm willing to bet that it was probably about as much as this bow sold for, at Scheels. It also had a little drop away rest. It's one of these ones that has like the flip down on it. I've never seen one like this before, but I mean, it worked pretty cool. I've put a couple arrows through this, getting my draw length dialed in, and obviously at the store, I wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything like blaringly wrong with it, if like an axle was blown or anything. And yeah, the rest performs pretty well. So let's get a couple arrows through this thing. I'll just kind of talk through what I think of it, and then we'll be good to go from there. Now, before I shoot this thing, I do actually want to talk about why I really bought this bow, because I'll be honest, the Bear Kuma was not at the top of my list of bows that I need to shoot as my backup bow for 2025. There's a lot of bows that I'd much rather shoot. One of them is like the Bear Alaskan XT, which is on the wall right there. And that's my fiance's bow. And I really, really like it. I'm very tempted to steal it, in all honesty, from her. But it really came down to what the bow was for the price that it was at. Now, $300 can be a lot of money depending on your situation, and we have all suffered from Bidenomics in the past 4 years. Hopefully that starts to die down for a little bit, but there's gonna be a period, and especially right now in new bow season, where money is a little bit tight. Holidays coming up, you have other people to buy for, but if you are wanting to get a bow, whether it be upgrading or getting a backup bow or something like that, I do think that the used bow market is a pretty good one to look into, especially from like big box stores like Scheels, because typically they just make a quick turnaround on a bow, make as much money as they can off of it at a reasonable price. I think that that bow, if it's sold on like Facebook Marketplace or on like an archery forum, it would probably sell for a lot more, especially on Marketplace. You see some guys who get pretty entitled with what they have when they sell it on Facebook Marketplace, and you guys probably know what I'm talking about. So there's that. If you were wondering, man, who is this bow for? Why did he buy this bow? That's my reasoning. That's where I think this bow fits in. Let's go ahead and get into actually shooting it now. All right, here we go. This is one of my hunting arrows that I hunt with now. So it's not like a budget arrow or anything like that. I'm gonna put a couple arrows through this thing. I'll talk through it and just see how it feels. So this is a 33-inch axle-to-axle bow. Honestly, feels really nice. So the draw is pretty firm all the way through, but then once you get anchored and everything, I think the draw length is a little bit long for me because it wants to jump, or there's something up with this where the let off isn't super solid, but ooh. Oh, that was my funny bone right there. If there was any question that I shoot with follow through, that answered it right there. Holy cow. That was like right on the little piece that it's like the funny bone. I hit that real hard. No, yeah, honestly, I can't tell if it's just like, if it's a stiff draw and the valley is just super shallow, or if there's something wrong, if like the cables are a little bit too long or something and the let off just isn't hitting super proper. Let's go through one more time. So I mean, it definitely lets off there. I think I just have to keep back tension on it because there is, I mean, I have a little bit of play. So yeah, maybe it's good. Yeah, honestly, there's vibration in this shot, but you can tell, I mean, shooting it, if this came out today, I would pin it in like that $700 to $800, maybe $600 price range that Bear puts out. It performs really well. It's not an old bow. The technology on this thing isn't that bad. This is also when Bear used to have the two string stops at the top and bottom. I took that one off because the rubber on the top one was kind of dry rotting, so I didn't want to risk it and have it like fall off or anything, and have my string hit it and cut it or something like that. But yeah, this bow shoots surprisingly well. So we're gonna put some new accessories on this thing, kind of get it dulled up here, and then honestly just see how it shoots from there. Alrighty, it is the next day. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I had a very, very frustrated night trying to get this thing to tune. It's not the bow's fault, it's the previous owner's fault, because what I think happened is that they were trying to basically manipulate the holding weight or draw length of this thing, because I looked and I just could not get this thing to tune. I couldn't get it to hold right. Like the let off just felt really wrong when I set it to my draw length, and pulled the strings and cables off. I measured them and they were like, the string was an inch out of spec. It was an inch longer. So I think that this person owned another bow that I got, which I teased earlier, but I think that they were trying to get the let off to feel similar to that bow, which kind of makes sense, but it was frustrating, trying to tune it and get it to feel the way it should. But I finally got it. It feels really good. In order to do that, I ended up at one point taking the bottom string stop off along with the top one because the brace height was just different. I don't know, whole lot of bow tuning stuff. I could probably put that string stop back on, but we're at the KD range. I just want to get a quick and dirty sight tape for this thing because I'm gonna hunt with it next week. So I really hope that all this tuning paid off and that it's shooting good. So I'm gonna get 30 yards here, kind of talk through these first 3 shots, and then I'm gonna go get my 20 and 40, just so I have my 3 pins set on this bow. And then I'll go ahead and get the 60-yard mark, and then I can actually get a sight tape for the sliding portion of this sight. Let's go ahead, we'll see how it goes. It should honestly be pretty similar. I don't know what this bow IBO'd at when it came out, but I would doubt that it's too different than my Omnia. I'm gonna pull that fletching off just because it's gonna give a little whirlwind if I don't. But yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna shoot 30 yards. I'm gonna aim for this bullseye that's underneath the coyote here, and got the target cam set up. We'll see how this first arrow goes. So, draw cycle wise, feels really good. It holds back nice. The cam is pretty aggressive. Like, you can tell if I let up at all, it wants to go forward. But if you have good back tension, it's all good. Whoa, that hit high. Okay. Either this thing's not sighted in, obviously, because it's not to this bow, but this thing might be kind of a burner. I know my Omnia was pretty fast, and this thing might be fast as well. Let's get another arrow here. There we go. Those are looking pretty good here. Let's get the 3rd arrow on the group, and then honestly, I should be able to make a quick adjustment here and we'll be set. That was pretty slick on what we got. We'll see if we can get grouped in at 30 and we'll be good to go. Guys, before we get further in the video, I just want to take a second to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Go ahead, like this video, comment down below. In fact, comment if you are shooting a used bow right now, or if you've ever owned a used bow. This is my first time owning a used bow, and I actually have another one that I bought along with this. I'm gonna keep teasing that video until it comes out. We just recently hit 2,000 subscribers on the channel and hit that way faster than we hit our first 1,000 subscribers. So I'm starting to see that exponential growth of this channel happen, and I couldn't do it without you guys. I appreciate it. I love seeing people commenting down below, engaging in the channel, anything like that. Obviously, the YouTube revenue is not breaking the bank. I'm not quitting my job anytime soon, but it is nice being able to at least get closer to breaking even on my archery addiction every month. Maybe not this past month with, buying 3 bows, but it is what it is. But in all honesty, money is not the reason that I'm doing this, and that's why any money that I make off of the channel, I put directly back into it, just so I can bring better content to you guys. I can bring better archery experiences to people who maybe have shot archery for a long time and are wanting to find a new channel and find, new content, or people who have never gotten into archery, and that's really where it hits home for me. If you have never shot archery before and you see one of my videos for the first time and it's the thing that gets you into it or tips you over the edge of buying a bow, I cannot describe how awesome that is and how awesome the thought of that happening is. I'm extremely blessed to be in the position that I'm in, and I just can't thank you guys enough. So go ahead, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, like the video, comment down below, share, do all of that YouTube stuff. Let's get back to the video. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised with this bow, and I'll talk more on that in a second here. And honestly, some of the design of this bow really goes in line with what I feel like bow brands are doing now. Like, you have a caged riser. It's obviously a slimmer riser, but this bow is light. Like, I've picked up this year's bows, the AX2, the Lift X. Obviously, the Lift X is gonna be really light. It's hard to beat that. But this bow is lighter, if not just as light as most other bow brands that I've seen. The AX2 is pretty light, but the Elites, the PSEs, anything like that, this bow it's pretty light. So yeah, maybe Bear was cooking something up back in 2019, and we just didn't know about it. All right, I got 20, 30, 40 set on this. I tested out at 50 just to make sure that I wasn't gonna be off of the target, and 50 hit pretty much where I was on the sight tape. So I think it's gonna be a pretty similar sight tape to my Epic X2. I'm not sure why it seemed so fast once I originally got this set. Probably just different specs on the bow, different peep height, different sight height, stuff like that. So This bow might not be as fast as I thought it was, but let's go ahead, shoot at 60 here. I'll tell you, this is gonna be a test for not just the bow, but for me too, because we all get in the hunting season slump where we don't shoot at distance, we just shoot at like 20, 30, checking broadheads, everything like that, or at least I do, I'll admit that. So let's go ahead, shoot at 60 here. We'll see how it goes. Got the target camera set up and yeah, we'll send it here. So first arrow at 60 out of a $300 bow that I bought used. We'll see just how good this is. Can't really see that far, but it sounded like it hit good. I definitely want to try to put on the string stop and see if it's going to fit back on this bow here, because the string vibration is pretty noticeable. This is the arrow with 2 fletchings. This one might go right into my target camera. That felt pretty good. Okay, let's go look at those. Last group at 60. Okay, let's go check that, and then I think I'll just talk about the bow. Okay, so group size at 60 was pretty good. I was a little bit low, but I'm just gonna fix the up and down after the fact here in the video. I was like an inch low, so I'm pretty pleased with it. And the actual like size of the group on those arrows, both of them at 60, for where I'm at in the season, I'm very pleased with. I don't think I would be able to shoot better currently with just how rusty I am with another bow, in all honesty. If you shoot better than me, please feel free to tell me down in the comments, but that's just where I'm at. So what's the point of this video? What's the point of getting a used bow, building it out and shooting it? Well, to understand that, we have to kind of agree and understand that bow technology honestly peaked like 5 or 6 years ago. There's a lot of bows out there that have tried to upgrade, tried to improve, tried to do all these new things, but none of those things have really included performance. Bows right now are really just as fast, if not slower, because people are really finding out that speed isn't necessarily everything if you're sacrificing feel and tunability for it. But bows perform just as well right now as they did 5 or 6 years ago. And a flagship bow from that time frame where technology really kind of peaked and they were really starting to try out these different things with bow technology is going to get you just as far as a bow right now. I definitely think that, buying a new flagship bow, especially with how expensive things are getting, once again, Bidenomics, it really comes down to if you want to, not if you need to. The only thing, and I think this bow is a good example of it, is like the tunability, where obviously the tune on this bow was not because of this bow, it was because of the previous owner, I'm pretty sure. But being able to really tune this bow and fine tune it is something where a lot of new bows nowadays are getting in and really dialing in. And that's actually why I bought my actual flagship bow for $25. So we'll find that video here in a little bit. But having really good tuning features, I think, is a big benefit that new bow companies are focusing on. But I mean, you can shim these cams, you can tune these yokes, you can time these cables still just as good as you can any modern day bow. And if you don't work on your own bow, your shop can do that. I hammer this nail so much because I really believe it, but archery is a sport that I don't think should be, gate kept by any means. It's something that I think the level of entry should be low. And honestly, I think the perceived level of entry is getting higher and higher nowadays, where all this stuff is coming out, all of these, hundreds of dollars of gear that you have to spend before most people would be like, oh, you're ready to shoot now. I don't think that's true. I mean, you can go out and buy a $300 bow, and honestly, all these accessories aren't totally necessary. It's just what I like. But you could put, an extra $150 of accessories on this bow and shoot just as well as other people who have, thousands of dollars of gear, but don't have fundamentals. Again, hammering on this nail, practice the fundamentals, hammer in on good form, good technique, good shot execution, and a bow like this will perform just as well as a modern flagship bow. And I, in all honesty, am going to be putting my money where my mouth is, because this bow is currently the only bow that I have set up. I sold my Omnia, I sold my Blackout Epic. This bow is the only bow that I have for the rest of the season. I'm gonna hunt with this bow next week. So I'm gonna get a broadhead tune on this thing. I'm gonna get up in a tree saddle, and hopefully I'm gonna shoot a couple deer with this thing. I still have a couple tags left, so I'm very excited to get this bow out and hopefully sling some arrows at some deer. So that's honestly all I have to say about this bow. It's pretty slick. And honestly, why you should probably look into the used bow market before you look into the beginner bow market, because you can probably find a bow that performs way better for less money, in all honesty. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you would buy this bow, if you would shoot this bow over like a youth beginner bow. Let me know if you guys think this bow performed well or not. And above all else, I hope you guys just get out there and get shooting. No matter what you're shooting, whether it is a brand new Lift X or if it's a 1990 Matthews solo cam, whatever it is, you're shooting it, and if you are enjoying the sport of archery, you're doing something right. So have a great day, guys. I hope you guys get out, get hunting, get shooting. Above all else, have a blessed day. We'll catch you guys in the next one.